Who is this?
Welcome, Vikings fans. This is the Full Skull Podcast.
Let's go!
Very nice, very nice. Welcome back from the great frozen lake state of
Yes. It's not frozen.
No, it's not.
It's warm, dude. It's like
Nice.
it's crazy. We're this deep into November and it's like 40 degrees.
Unseasonably warm. That's what it's like
Yeah.
here. Actually,
Yeah.
it's in the 50s. But
It's been crazy, but yeah,
Yes.
another 2-week episode. Wins.
yeah, the last two were two losses. And so just to prove our point that it was not
Wins.
intentional that wins exactly. That it was not intentional that we did not do an episode between the losses. We went ahead and did one between the wins too. So life happens and schedules go, and so here we are.
Yeah, well, I was out in the middle of nowhere, North Dakota last week, so yeah, part of the game, the last week's game, watched all of it in the vehicle. So,
Jacksonville, the first 2 weeks ago, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, like this very last one, but
Jacksonville.
We'll get to that one, and then So, anyways, let's back up. First
Yes.
week, what would it be? 9, right? 9.
No.
Last week was 10, was it not?
No, last week was 11 because we're 7-2 9. Yeah, so it's 10. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
week 9. Yeah.
buys always mess me up.
Yeah.
9, 10. Yeah,
That was against the Indianapolis Colts at home on a Sunday night. That girl Jamie Erdahl from Good Morning Football sounded the Gallahorn, and they gave her a jersey with her name on it. She's like a huge Vikings fan. Like,
huge.
You see some of the videos of her. She's just like over the moon, like going crazy over.
Oh, could you imagine if me or you got?
Well, yeah, but I mean, she's a professional journalist. I mean, we're just journalists. Oh no, did I just close that tab? No, good. That was not good at all. What happened there? Anyway, so a victory against the Indianapolis Colts, which was not overly impressive. Actually, it kind of was, in my opinion, because we struggled mightily in the first half, and then we came back. And Sam Darnold threw for 3 touchdowns in the second half. So we were losing 7-0 at halftime. I think it's the first time. I don't know if it was the first time in KOC's career. I guess I could have looked that up. But definitely the first time this season that we have not scored in the first period. No, I take that back. Did we not score against Detroit in the first period? Anyway, usually we take off out of the gates. But we did not score in the first half. So a little bit reminiscent of the Indianapolis Colts game from last season, except for we were down 33-0 in the first half of that game. So going down 7-0, but it just seemed like we should have been just been killing them. I mean, and it just didn't work out. But second half, much better. Obviously, we scored 14 in the third and then 7 in the fourth, and they just got 2 field goals. Or did they get a touchdown?
I really should have watched. I should have rewatched the highlights of that game because I'm like trying to remember now, and I'm like, what happened exactly?
Yeah,
this is a great recap.
Sam came out and had a great second half. He threw 28 for 34 for 290 yards and 3 touchdowns. Of course, he had 2 interceptions in the first half, which were, I think, pretty much in their end zone, just like last week. We'll get to Sam Darnold after we do the kind of the recap on the weeklies. But the one thing that I will say about the Indianapolis is that they do have a very good offensive line, and they also have a very good defensive line. So they had, let's see, regular season. Where's the rest of these games at? So for example, Jonathan Taylor, he is having a great season. Great season. I wanted to look up. I had more of his stats up for most of the season, but I would just say the last 3 games. So this last weekend they played the Bills. He had 21 carries for 114 yards. The week before he played us, which was October 27th against the Texans, he had 20 carries for 105 yards. The week they played us, he had 13 carries for 48. So he's averaging almost 5 yards a carry, and we held him to 3.7. So, I mean, when you're talking about a yard and a half or 2 yards in that neighborhood, that's huge in the run game. So the fact that we kept him, almost 2 yards, a good yard and a half below his average, the defense played amazing. Again, they only scored 7, or they scored 13, but I want to say that it was 1 touchdown and then 2 field goals in the fourth or something. But so for me, the last 2 weeks, the story has been the defense. We talked about that after the 2 losses to Detroit and to the Rams, where I don't know, is it being exposed? Is it this or that? And then now these two teams that we played, the Colts and the Jaguars, are not at the caliber, obviously, of like Detroit or even the Rams now, with the Rams got all of their weapons back. But the defense now is back to what just dominant. Just absolutely dominant. So, as far as Sam, I think on our text thread, we started talking about that, that he is not an elite quarterback is what I was saying. A little bit upset after that game, a little bit, even though we end up winning. But just his tendency to turn the ball over in the red zone is starting to become a real problem. I think your brother was talking about, but defense in the Ravens. And I'm like, yeah, but he is not, Trent Dilfer. Dilfer?
He might be better. Dude, I'm not like.
But
dude,
I don't think Trent Dilfer hurt him the way he does. I don't know that he turned the ball over like this.
Yeah, probably not. Because I think they just ran the ball. This last game, I don't want to jump ahead, but I get what you're saying. After a while, it's like, okay, we're within field goal range. Should we just kick the field goal on first and 10 because we can get points before
before he turns the ball over. Yeah.
But
really, he does it. And then he does it. He said, I know I was in the kitchen this last game and they were saying something about them being enraged. And I'm like, just kick it. I said, so he doesn't turn the ball over. And sure enough, he turned the ball over. I think it was the one that was called back. So he really threw 4 interceptions, but there was a hands to the face to Jefferson, like coming off the line or something like that. But he throws the ball, like he threw an interception again. So, it's.
Well, going back to the Colts. That was unfortunately, the major headline for that game was that egregious missed call on the face mask in the end zone. Now, granted, wait, was that on the loss? Oh, that's 3 weeks ago.
That was the Rams.
That was the Rams. Yeah. That was crazy. I'm getting those back. I really should have rewatched that Colts game.
Yeah.
I feel like there was another missed call. It feels like the refs have kind of been beating us up the last few weeks.
Yeah, well, he got hit to the head. I think
that's what it was
on the interception or something. He got hit across the head.
Yeah, he got up and he was.
No. It was the fumble.
That was the fumble. Yeah,
it was the fumble. That's how they scored. That's right. That's how they scored.
Yeah,
scored on the fumble, and he got hit in the head, and then they sack him, strip sack, fumble. They run it in. That's how they got their 7 points. That's right. The offense did not score. It was the defense that scored. But and then the week before that was the face mask in the end zone that ended up giving Rams that 2 points, and then we had to kick the ball off to them. And ultimately cost us the game. Not saying that we would have been able to go down and score, but at least we would have had a chance and we would have had a little momentum. So the commentators like Al Michaels, who is, generally very just stoic and doesn't say too much, he actually said something about it in our maybe it wasn't our game, but whatever game that he was calling, and he was talking about that, like, this is just ridiculous. Like, there's just too many plays, there's too many games that this is becoming a problem at and stuff like that. So it's not just us noticing it. And I've had, people, that I see that are other teams' fans, and they're like, about that face mask or about that? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, dude, that was ridiculous. That was, how do you miss that,
Yeah, I mean, questionable stuff this past game with Jacksonville. I mean, that was not an interception. And they looked at it and said, call stands. You're like, what are you talking about?
And the guy that does the Dean Blandino or whatever that they bring in, our rules analyst, retired referees, like, no, it's not. That's, no, this one should, and they're talking about, well, I said this one should be overturned, blah, 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 and then it's not. And it's just like, what do you mean it's not? Like, everybody that's watching it, but you 3 or 4 or 5 people know that it's not an interception. How do you?
They have the same camera angles. They have more camera angles. They have access to all of them. And still, it's. But you want to tell yourself that it happens to every team, so that you just don't get out of your mind. But it's kind of like the whole Chiefs thing. Not to derail us too far, but at some point in time, where there's smoke, there's fire. The breaks that the Chiefs have got this year are kind of ridiculous.
Well, and they're
not winning by a lot. So
I read something, and I don't know if it's true, but like, there's a female official in the Chiefs game that took pictures with Taylor Swift before the game or something like that, and got somehow met her and stuff like that. I'm like, you're officiating a game with her boyfriend or whatever they are, and you're a fan of her. Okay, that's great, but you're at work. Like, if it's true,
you could be innocent, right? That could be just like she's a fan or whatever, but it's not a good look.
No, for sure.
The optics of that are
no, for sure. Know all too well about the optics of things.
Absolutely. But I don't know, dude. That Colts game, I mean, both games I felt very similar. Like, we should be dominating, but we're not. Like what is going on? Is it all Sam Darnold? Well,
Jacksonville was, for sure, to go ahead and move up to last week, because what was that stat? Did you find that again? The time of possession?
I should have looked it up, but I thought I saw something or heard something that against Jacksonville, that's the most time of possession for any team in the league this year was the Vikings. And
I mean, it was ridiculous.
No touchdowns.
Like the yards.
What?
Okay, yeah. So here's I got these team stats up here. So Vikings total yards 402 to the 143 to Jacksonville. 233 passing yards to 87. 169 rushing yards to 56. Yards per play almost 5 at 4.9 to 3.3. Punts, penalties, fumbles, lost, interceptions. Time of possession. I thought it was right. That 42 minutes and 19 seconds to 17:41. It's only 60 minutes in a game. Almost 42 minutes. I mean, and we won metrics, 12-7. No offense. No offensive touchdown.
This should have been 54-6.
And here's the thing. Like, I was sitting there watching the game, and Chato and Caitlin came over, and he looked at me, and he's like, dude, if the Lions are playing in Jacksonville, it'd be 52-0. And they play them this weekend. And I mean, and they're just gonna absolutely destroy them. I mean, like, what we should have done, but we didn't.
Well, we did, but we didn't. I mean, that's the hard pill, right? Like that. Like, there's the numbers, right? The scoreboard didn't show it, but we owned that field. Like, We were always in control, and then you turn the ball over in the red zone and you don't get points. But I mean, I'm trying to take away from this one, like, you want this one to be like the fluke, right? Like, I know, but we've used that on a couple.
We've already used the fluke. Yeah,
Used
it's
those
kind of like when you want to
losses.
drop your worst best tournament. We've already tried to drop 2 or 3 other ones. We've already tried to drop them.
How many
Like, we
throwaways do I
can't-
get this season? Because I want to use some more. Can I buy? Is there a proxy? Can I buy some more mulligans on this?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, it's like,
oh my god.
yeah,
I mean, we
I don't
win.
know.
I mean, we won, right? So we escaped, and I did think, well, this is like, if somehow we lose this game, can you imagine? Like, that would definitely have to set some sort of NFL record, time of possession, all those yards.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
still
yeah,
lose
yeah,
the game.
yeah.
Like,
For sure. And
what a
lose.
crazy most Vikings record ever that would be. Like,
well, we did set a record. Was it against the Colts?
Well, last year we did. It was the biggest
so many.
comeback in NFL history.
No. But it was the terrible one where the league was like 160 something up until we did it with losing that many turnovers or something like that. And then end up winning the game, kind of thing. So we had 82 plays against Jacksonville to their 43. We almost doubled their amount of plays, and yet we only came up with 12 points. But so he threw 3 interceptions. Every one of them was in the red zone. And then we actually tied for we didn't lose the turnover battle because they had a fumble and we had 2 interceptions against them in the second half. But no, I don't. So for me, because I mean the defense is playing lights out. I mean, really, we're 3 and outing people, we're getting turnovers, they're doing everything they possibly can. And so what else can it be? It has to be Sam Darnold. You talked about when we were on a roll and everybody keeps saying, I keep waiting for him to turn into a pumpkin. And we're like, it's not going to happen. I don't know. Maybe it is happening right in front of us because
that's why I made that picture. With
exactly. Yeah. I think it was, I don't know if it was Purple Daily or one of these other podcasts. And they're like, please, Sam Darnold, quit crashing the plane. Like, quit crashing, crash landing the plane. It's like, to me, that's all it's coming down to. It's his bad decision making and his inaccuracy. This last game was just so evident. Like, I don't know.
It's a head game at this point. Like, it has to be. Like, he's in his head. The whole thing. Like, seeing ghosts. He's all these adages are coming back up again. As a fan, I guess we gotta put our faith in KOC. He is the quarterback whisperer, and this is going to be a true test of his quarterbacking ability. Quarterback. Well, not his quarterbacking ability, but his like building up a quarterback ability, whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
If he can get Darnold over this mental hump, because he has looked really good kind of up until the last couple of weeks. And so now it seems the wheels are falling off, but thank God. I mean, maybe he's jumping to the rim too, right? Like, because early in the season when we were undefeated, we're playing good teams.
Yeah.
And he looked great.
Yeah.
We play these subpar teams and we look like trash.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with that? Like the Jaguars, I think, had like almost dead last in pass defense.
Yeah.
And how are they able to shut JJ down? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible? Like, why is JJ not getting open? Some of those, and I think those turnovers are coming because I fault his accuracy, but I don't really fault his trying to get your ball to the playmaker, right? That's what everybody says. Like,
yeah. Throw it to 18.
Throw it to 18. Well, that's what he was trying to do, and maybe he had a little too much. I mean, that's the decision making, I guess, that might be at fault. It's like, okay, but maybe not into triple coverage, because if JJ is triple coverage, then Addison's got to be open, and Hawkinson has to be open.
Well, that's the thing that I've noticed about Sam, is that when he locks onto somebody, he doesn't come off of them. Like it's hard. He
Well,
stays
you
with
can't.
them.
That
And
just telegraphs your move. You definitely
yeah,
can't do that. That's terrible.
because that terrible interception trying to force it into Jefferson 2 weeks ago. Addison was wide open in the flat. Like I mean, you got to just keep moving. You got to look. I mean, I guess it. I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword because you and I have both said, or at least I have for sure, just throw it to 18. Yeah, he's guarded, but he's better than them. He's going to make the play, but that pass has to be perfect, and it's not.
Well,
You know what I
now there
mean?
wasn't. Again, I don't want to be the whiny fan that cries foul and bad officiating, but again, there was a play there where they definitely didn't call defensive holding on JJ. He had his arm. That was when he deflected that pass. I think it was on a key third down or something. And like he had the same arm that he like batted that ball away. He had it around his JJ's chest the whole time. Yeah, you can be physical in that 5 yards, but he was literally holding him back. Like JJ couldn't run as fast as he wanted to. Like he was holding him back. How like literally holding him. Like how did that not get called? That should have been first and 10 right there. Like how do you not see that? Like
it's bad. There's no doubt about it. But I love the fact that KOC just doesn't make excuses. It is what it is. I mean, he's got his issues with the league, and he and whenever people ask him about those, he's like, I just want to ask for more clarity because he's a smart guy. He doesn't want to lose his money over saying something that he shouldn't. And he's like, I'm just trying to get clarity. Like, give me some clarity. Why wasn't this called, or why was it called? So I can be a better coach to coach my guys. This is how we do this, and this is how we don't do this. And so I don't know that he's getting anywhere, but sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So hopefully, that some of those calls will start to go our way because the officials know, hey, he's really kind of a thorn in our side here. Let's
we'll just call it. I mean, just call
well,
it.
that's true. Yeah,
I mean,
call it like it is.
We're not asking for favors.
Yeah, right. There's been a lot of questions, and it's not just us. We're watching our game intently, obviously, so we see what's going on. But I think it's league wide. I think there's a lot of stuff going on in the league that it's just like, wow. I know Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady's made some comments about stuff that he can't even really say much about anything because he's part owner. But he's made comments about the officiating. Tony Romo has made a lot of comments. Al Michaels. They're all just like, this is getting kind of ridiculous. So, but like I said, in the end, KOC is right. Like, what are we going to do? Like, we can't complain about the officiating. It is what it is. We're not going to get those wins back like we've talked about before. Some of these calls last year that cost us games. Well, what are you going to do? And I've been of the stance of those officials should be fined. Because if they're the calls that they make, after the fact, when they go back and look and say, oh, yep, we missed that call. Well, then you should be fined because you cost this team the game. And
I agree with that because they'll go back and find a player for a bad hit.
Yes.
Or like that guy that snapped Sam's head around and didn't get called, they fined him.
Yeah.
After the fact. Game's over.
So the official that misses that, whose job it was,
you should also get fined.
You should be fined. Now people say, well, yeah, but they're not going to get any playoff games and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, that's a little extra money on top of what they do. But if they knew that they blow this call and it's going to cost them $10,000 or $20,000, they're probably going to pay a little bit closer attention to what they're doing.
Well, I don't know if they can charge that much. I don't think the officials make that much.
How do they make six figures? They're
yeah, but 20. If you're making six figures, let's say even if you make $200,000, you get fined 60.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I'm not saying 60, but five.
Quarter of your salary.
5 to 10. Well, I mean, you got to make it worth. It's like playing penny poker. If you're going to charge them $300, what's that to $150,000 to $200,000 person? Not much. So
maybe they make more. I don't know what they make, but they're not making athlete wages. I know that.
No, wow, no, they're not in the millions, but they're making enough money for sure. And they keep a record of that and whatever. They don't get big playoff games. They don't get Super Bowl games, which of course I'm sure is a huge bonus onto their their resume, and a lot more money involved in that. But still, just because you miss out on that's not guaranteed anyways. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't know what else you can do because, oh, sorry, missed it. You lose. Oh, sorry, you missed the playoffs because I blew the call. Sorry. I mean, like, really?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
would
they
think that the
matter.
ownership of these teams would be livid because think of the tens of millions, 20 of millions of dollars that you're costing a team if a call decides whether they make it in the playoffs or not, which any of these games during the season, if a call is if the officiating directly affected that outcome of that game, win or loss, well, then it's going to affect their playoff chances. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess unless you're the Panthers and you
Well,
win
I
two
mean,
games.
it definitely affects your like in-game mental status too.
Yeah.
You can
Well,
get
that
you
too,
can
yeah.
get defeated, and these calls are going to be doing. You're out there busting your ass, and then you get frustrated because a face mask doesn't get called or a hold doesn't get called, and you're like, and then you got to punt it away. You're just like,
Yeah.
what the heck, dude?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you measure that? Like the next, you're just frustrated. Now you're not in the right mind, making the right decisions, and
Yeah.
they're professionals, and you want to hope that they're not human in that aspect, but they are.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
full range of motions, of course. So,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
yeah, I don't want to harp on that officiating
Yeah.
part, but it's hard not to bring it up when, like, it definitely matters.
Yeah. No, it matters for sure.
It's terrible, and then our run game seems to be okay, although Aaron Jones gets hurt again.
Well, that was the big knock on Aaron Jones coming in. And, Jeremiah told me that when we picked him up, he's like, he's so injury prone. But to his credit, he's been playing through a lot of it. He had the hip, now he's had some ribs, and he went out, went to the lot. They actually put him on a cart. I'm thinking, oh, that's not good. They took him to the back, and I guess they did some x-rays on his ribs, and he came back in and finished the game. So KOC's press conference yesterday, I believe it was, saying that he's day-to-day, but that, he'll be limited probably during the week a little bit, but that he's probably good to go on the, come Sunday. So, I mean, he's a veteran, you should be able to, yeah, during the season, a lot of those guys, Harry and them, they take a lot of time off. They're limited in practice just because, you've been at this a long time. Let's just, we're halfway through the season almost. Actually, we are halfway through the season, more than halfway, but, let your body just rest up. You'll get you ready for Sunday. You don't need to go through this stuff anymore. All the coaching is done for them. You know what I mean? Like there's things that the younger guys need or whatever, and maybe some more reps. But other than that, walkthroughs are probably more than enough for most of these guys. Because you don't want to take a chance of
going into the stretch. I mean, these were 2 must wins for sure.
Yes.
Because they're teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
And sure, we didn't win like we wanted to, or by the margin we want to, but I am taking comfort in those other stats, in those yards, in the way you move the ball, because I do feel like, well, I'm hoping, I guess, that the turnovers are fluky and that we can clean that up. You remove that piece. I mean, I know you can't just do that, but you remove that piece and it's an absolute domination blowout.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it should have been 36-7 or something. It's just ridiculous, but it's not. So that's the thing. That's the problem. And I see, you start to get some frustration on JJ's part. You get some frustration on Addison, because it's like we're open and it's a trickle down effect. The quarterback is the most important position in football, I believe. Obviously, they're handling everything back there and making all the decisions for the whole team on the offensive side of the ball. So it's tough. I don't know. The confidence that we had weeks 3, 4, 5 for me has definitely subsided in a good old Sam Darnold. But also, I don't know if it was a conversation I had with you or if it was with Jeremiah. Also, though, I guess the good thing about that, or silver lining, is that they're probably not going to be a question mark on re-signing Sam Darnold.
Right. Well,
I mean, the season's not over yet, but
it's ever changing, right? Like it that's the thing with these like every week reaction videos, podcast stuff. Yes. It's like it's so easy for us to just change on the fly, like, because okay, what happens the next 2? He comes out and he's back to beginning
MVP.
Of season.
He's the MVP. He's gonna take us to
He's back to slinging Arnold.
exactly.
Like, do we forget? I mean, do we just go, "Oh, he just had a couple bad weeks, now he's back on track," or do we like, when are the wheels gonna fall off again? Like,
is it the playoffs? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, then we get into
You're
the
right.
playoffs.
You're
Like,
right.
we're getting to that stage, that old familiar stage as a Vikings fan, where it's like every play you hold your breath, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Is this going to be a turnover?
oh,
Like you love the long bomb to Jefferson, but you're like, is this going to get picked off again? Yeah. So much PTSD is not even
the
funny.
trauma. The
Yeah,
trauma
exactly. There's a lot of trauma there for sure.
God, the exposed nerves.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
Well, speaking of trauma, I think we do need to definitely talk about our new kicker. So last week, Will Reichert went down. Will Reichert. Will Reichert.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Will the Thrill.
Will the Thrill. The Carbajal lookalike. Yeah, it looked like Chato's brother, but
Seriously does.
yeah, no, like, dude, it's scary. He should have went that for Halloween. He could have just got a Riker jersey and just walked around with some tight pants on and stuff and been like, I'm Will Riker, dude, identical. But he's on the IR. He was it a hamstring, I believe it was, something like that. So we brought in Parker Romo. What's his? But it's something else. It's like he's got like 3 names. Something Parker Romo. I got it right here.
What is the injury to Will? I don't think I've heard officially. Or like, how long is he going to be out? And
well, he's on a short-term IR, so it's 4 weeks.
So he's 4 weeks for sure.
Yeah, but I think it's like a quad injury or something like that.
Like, did he pull it? Like, was it a practice injury? Like, I don't even know when it happened.
No, pretty sure it happened on that game. John Parker Romo was his replacement, but kicker Will Reichert was on IR. John Parker Romo signing as replacement. I'm pretty sure that it was a quad injury. The team signed record, a long snapper, and Andrew DePaul. Oh, and the long snapper.
Yeah, when I was gonna say that when it's a crazy game when the long snapper and the kicker or punter gets a game ball.
Quad injury. Yeah, exactly. It's a quad injury for Reichert. But yeah, he's on the short-term IR, so he'll be missing 4 games. So John Parker Romo, he came from the XFL last year. He was with the San Antonio Brahmas, and he went 17 for 19 with a 57-yarder. So he apparently there is a let me find it here now. There is a kicker that holds like a mini like training camp combine kind of thing just for kickers. Since got an analyst, Michael was the respected kicking coach Gary Zauner host an annual spectacle to help give exposure to specialists who have been overlooked. So in earlier this year, they had that kickoff thing, or they had that event, and the Vikings went down there. The special teams coordinator went down there, and they saw this John Parker Romo, and they actually brought him in the preseason, and they end up signing him. Let's see. It says here that arriving before the start of organized team activities, OTAs, which is in the spring, Romo, who bounced around at 3 schools in college before finishing his career at Virginia Tech in 2021, remained the only player at the position until the Vikings selected rookie kicker Will Reichert in the draft. And then they waived Romo. So Romo was on the team prior to the draft. And then they brought in Will the Thrill. And then, of course, we didn't need him anymore. So as soon as he went down, they reached back out to him. And he says that he was kicking, he still continued to work out and stuff like that. And he still continued to kick. But he said basically he was just sitting at home when they called him. And they brought him back in. They brought him back in with other kickers to compete. and he ended up winning the spot back. So, and goes 4 for 4. He's the only offense, on the day. So it's like, well, the dude's right. He came in on like a Wednesday. I think he showed up on like Wednesday. I mean, obviously, what do you need to know? You don't need. There's no playbook for kickers. There's nothing. It's just here's the ball. They're gonna snap it. You kick it. We still have obviously the punter.
Well, we just got the replacement guard from
Cam Robinson. Yeah,
Jacksonville showed up on like Wednesday. Last week.
Yeah.
So
he
definitely had an impact right away.
Yeah,
he played pretty good.
He actually played with Jacksonville. He kind of got a little tussle with some of them yesterday because he played in Jacksonville prior. So actually, is that who he directly came from? I think that might have been.
Yeah, we got him from Jacksonville.
Yeah, with in Jacksonville. Yeah. Yep. So I don't know if that was his only team that he's been with, but anyways. So yeah, this Parker Romo, he ended up becoming a hero. So good for him. I love Will, and I hope he comes back, sooner than later. But I know short-term IR, to my understanding, is minimum 4 weeks. So quad injury. And he missed his first 2 field goals, or was it he missed a field goal and an extra point maybe? Or was it 2 field? No, it might have just been 2 field goals. But he hurt it on the first one, I guess. Like he slipped or something, and he strained the quad. But he ended up finishing the game and still kicked the extra points, just in a lot of pain. And they kept showing him, like every time he was kicking, he was like wincing in pain at it, and he wasn't even putting his foot down. And it's his kicking foot. Like he plants and kicks it, and then he kind of bounces on his land, on his plant foot.
On his plant foot, yeah.
Yeah, because it was hurting him so much. So, give him credit for that. I mean, I loved him already, but to give him the fact that he was, fighting through that injury and still finished and kicked the extra points to that. So, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what this John Parker Romo has for us. So far, so good on that one for sure. I mean,
hopefully we don't have to rely on kickers. I mean, that would be.
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully it's just a bunch of extra points for sure.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
We'll have to figure it out. So who do we have next week? It's another should be easy win, right?
Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans. Yeah, absolutely.
Titans, yep.
So
no, it should be
an easy win. Will we make it exciting? Probably. Or boring, as the case may be. Like the last 2 games have not been barn burners by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
And Detroit continues to play really well.
Yeah. I will say this, as of right now, we are basically a lock for the playoffs. We're only like a 9% chance to win the division or something like that. So I don't see how we win the division. I don't see the Lions losing to anybody but us.
Outside of a bad injury. I don't see anything crazy.
I mean, they should have lost to the Texans on Sunday night. The Texans had them beat.
God, that's
right. Texans had them beat. I mean, and they just could not put them away, and they end up coming back and winning 26-23 with no time left. So that would have been huge if the Texans could have put that on them.
Oh man!
And Jared Goff, he made a record book too because he threw 5 interceptions. He's the only player in NFL history, I believe, to throw 5 interceptions and to win the game. So they really played terrible. And they only scored 20. So they scored 26 points there. They only scored 24 points against the Packers. And prior to us, when they scored 31, they were scoring in the 40s and they dropped a 52 piece on somebody too. So, maybe they're not, it's starting to kind of come apart. The one thing that they did pick up, who wasn't even on the field this weekend, was Zadarius, the Z train that played with us. He came over from the Browns, and they signed him this week. And he was in street clothes on Sunday night. But I'm sure he'll be in there next week when they face the Jaguars, which they won't even probably need him for that. But so he might be a difference maker. They're trying to fill that gap for Aiden Hutchinson. obviously, we remember Z. He was good for about 4 or
Yeah,
5 games, then he disappeared. Kind of, he's
right.
getting up there in age, and so. But if he can give the Lions 4 or 5 good games, I mean, that's like week 17 already, week 16. So, that's about all they need him for is 5, 6 real good games, and take them right, in at least into the playoffs for
Oh,
sure.
we
But
gotta split with Detroit, so we're gonna have to go there and take it back. I mean,
well, I
football
don't.
player,
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna depend on the if it means anything for Detroit. Because if it doesn't, then they might sit some people. I don't think it's really in Campbell's arsenal to sit players. But if it's already a guarantee, you know, they already have home field locked up. They had the first team. They have the seed, the first. They're in first place, whatever.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
the number one seed. Then, why would you not? Amon Ra and even Jared Goff and stuff like that. Let the other guys play so you could make sure nobody gets hurt. Because at that point, you're not playing for anything else. There's no reason to play your
right,
starters.
right, right,
You're just
right.
waiting to get to the playoffs. Are they going to have that locked up? Hopefully not. They do have to play the Bills still. In a couple weeks, they have the Jaguars and then the Colts, just like we do. It's like backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had Colts and then Jaguars and then the Bears. They have Jaguars, Colts, Bears. So
Well,
they're
the Bears definitely bared this season
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure,
No, the Bears are
and
terrible.
I took a peek at their season, and like our tough first half of the season is their
Yeah,
last half of the season.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they're
they
not,
they may not win another game. Yeah,
they're screwed.
they probably won't. It's probably easy that they don't win another game. Yeah,
Oh my God, how like there was so much talk about them being good and being like some
yeah,
people even picked
yeah.
them winning the division and the Vikings would be last, and
Well, didn't I
it's gotta
say
be tough being a Bears fan, man.
I
Like,
saw something? And Caleb Williams is
yeah.
delusional, dude. That dude's delusional. I think, from what I'm reading, that like when they drafted a kicker or they brought this kicker in, he's like, "Yeah, we're not going to be kicking a lot of field goals this
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry
yeah,
about it," or
yeah.
something like that. And I'm
He's
like,
yeah.
dude, like
He's
you're
listening to
insane, dude.
people.
Go
Yeah, he's
paint your
listening to
nails. Go
people
paint your toenails, dude.
blowing smoke blowing smoke up his ass. I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of these athletes believe that
yeah.
stuff, and then they get in and you actually play with the big
It's the
boys.
singers on the singing competitions that swear up and down that they're good because everybody around them tell them you're so amazing, and they're terrible.
Well, I don't know if I put Caleb Williams in that category because
Not
he
quite
was
that.
actually good in
Yeah,
college.
yeah,
Um, 'Cause, yeah, those singers in American Idol are just
yeah. No,
terrible.
yeah,
Like, dude, your
atrocious.
friends, they're not really your friends.
They're
They've
not
been
your
lying
friends.
to you
Yeah,
this whole
yeah,
time.
yeah, for a while. Yeah, for sure.
Don't be
But
mad at
no,
Simon.
but
Be mad at your friends. But yeah, but I mean, it's everybody knows that the NFL is just a different creature than
yeah,
college, and that's
yeah,
why when people were screaming last year, get rid of Kirk and get tank the season, get a good draft pick. About like you don't know what you're getting. Like
yeah,
getting the number one pick does not guarantee you a Mahomes.
yeah,
Like it's pretty much a coin toss. You look at the statistics overall in the history, it's like 50-50. If a good college quarterback makes it in the NFL. Like it's
yeah.
not
I guarantee for sure.
it's just it's definitely not. It's a coin flip. Like you can't sell the farm for that. Like
Yeah,
it's foolish. It's just
yeah.
foolish. Like and can Caleb Williams develop? Sure, possibly.
Mhm.
Is it kind of a Sam Darnold KOC scenario where maybe he needs the right system, the right coach, and the right yeah,
Well, the
possibly.
Bears are just a terrible franchise. I mean,
Yeah, they're a quarterback killing franchise. I
yeah,
mean, they're just
yeah,
terrible.
yeah,
So hopefully for his sake he doesn't get ruined and he can get out of there at some point in time. Or the Bears as an organization are gonna have to clean house
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
office. Like
yeah,
you need new coaching, you need new
yeah,
general manager, you need new everything. Like this isn't working. Like
yeah.
we
Just
need
blow it up and start over again. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, you can keep caring
leadership
about those
top
people.
down is a
Yeah,
problem,
yeah,
that like whatever. But
yeah,
um
yeah. But I don't see. The Bears are going to be doing nothing in the division. The Packers, they have to play the Packers again in like 4 weeks, I think, or something. They have the so Detroit. It's Jaguars, Colts, Bears, Packers. But the Packers are coming out to Detroit. But maybe you just never know. And then they play the Bills at home, but it's the Bills, so maybe then they go back to Chicago again. That's a win. Then they have the 49ers in San Francisco, the week 17. CMC is back. Obviously, they're going to have a lot of more chemistry between now and week 17. I mean, this is week 11 or something. 11. So, and then they play us the last game of the season. So I don't see them losing another game in the division unless it's us. I mean, do the Packers stand a chance? Maybe. I mean, they played them well at home, but they played them well at home in a rain, monsoon, crazy game. So I don't know.
I know the Packers are playing like a really good spoiler team right now. And as much as I like to throw shade at the Packers, I don't mean that as an insult. Like, they're good. I just don't know if they're. I mean, they're good enough to be a problem for us. I think, honestly, like, and that's what I mean by I think they can play a really good spoiler team right now.
Yeah.
For us more than anybody really. So we'll just have to see.
I mean, you never know. We already played them in Lambeau. They do have to come to us. We already beat them in Lambeau. So
I don't think crushed us last year. I was at that game. It sucked. So
in the U.S. Bank.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah,
that was the Christmas game.
Oh yeah, but there's no
New Year's.
There's no like we did for whatever reason we did not play well at home last year, and this year it's a totally different story. We were playing lights out at home. Like that home field advantage is making a big difference. But so we got the Titans this week, the Bears next, and then the Cardinals come to the house, which they're playing pretty well. I mean, it's at home,
pretty good. I'm glad we have them at the bank.
Yeah, and then Kirk O'Chains comes home for a 1:00 game.
I'm a little worried about that game
on December 8th. Yes, for sure. Then the Bears come to us 8:00. I think I don't know if it's a Thursday night or December 16th.
The good thing we have going for us with that Falcons game is it's at home for sure.
Yes, for sure.
Obviously, KOC being the quarterback whisperer has intimate intel in the inside of his brain, so should know how to rattle him. Beeflo, obviously knows him.
It could be good. Yeah. It could be demoralizing for Kirk O'Chains because
it might be.
Because they might be like, yeah, I already know exactly what you're trying to do, so we got this. Like, they just do this, this, and this. You get in his head, it's over, and it could happen early. And Kirk starts gritting it.
Well, they faltered last week a little bit. Like, he showed some weakness last week for sure. So, we'll see. I think that game's gonna get a lot of press. There's gonna be a lot of
yeah. I could see that possibly getting flexed too. I don't know. I don't remember the flexing schedule. If you have to be so many weeks in advance, for them to flex stuff. And I would think that possibly as well, we continue to win. Detroit continues to win. That week 18, that'd be flexed too. And actually, even on the schedule, it says to be determined. I mean, it's January 5th, but to be determined. So
that's how you know it's rigged.
Yeah. I would say that that's going to be a Sunday night.
What if that comes down to the division, dude?
I mean, it could, because Jeremiah and I were talking about this the other day. Like, I don't know. I have to look that up. What is the tiebreaker? Because we'd each have 1-1. We'd be whatever 6-1. What do we have? 2, 4, 6. We have 6 games against the division.
It only comes down if
we'd be 5-1. We'd both be 5-1 in the division, and we'd have a split with each other. So. Division.
It would have to go to
tie breaker.
Your league record, I suppose, or conference record.
Okay. Head-to-head record, which of course would be 1-1. A division record, which would be the same, 5-1. Record against common opponents. The best one-loss tied percentage in games played against common opponents, which we play the same. We're playing the same division.
Yeah,
we're playing that AFC South, division. But we would have won all of those because We beat Houston. They beat Houston. We beat Jacksonville. We beat Indianapolis. We're going to beat the Titans. They're going to beat all three of those.
Well, they need to get another loss somewhere for this to be an issue.
Yes. Yeah. They need to get another loss for sure.
So
they don't.
I mean, really,
no, they don't, because if they continue on and we continue on winning, if we win out and then we beat them, then we're both
had 2 losses right now?
2. Yeah, because they have 1. So
right.
we
So
beat
they
them.
need to lose. Oh, right.
beat
And we're tied for You're right.
And we're tied. Right. So it goes to so after common opponents, then it goes to conference record, the NFC. And then it's strength of victory rating, a figure calculated by combining the winning percentage of the opponents.
That would be crazy if it came
out defeated. Yeah. And then strength of schedule, and then net points in divisional games, and then a coin toss. At the end, it's just a coin toss.
Oh my gosh!
If all we really need,
I mean, honestly, we need them to lose a divisional game, an additional one. So we're going to need the Packers to step up, or the Bears to get a freak win or something.
Yeah, but they won't.
Or a common opponent. I mean,
who did they lose to?
They were supposed to lose to Houston. It was right there.
They lost to the Bucks.
The Texans.
They lost to the Bucks, and we don't play the Bucks. So common opponents, we'll have the same record in common opponents, but the Buccaneers are NFC, and we lost to them and the Rams, which are both NFC. So that's where they would get us right there. Well, no, but we beat them again. We beat them. Then that's 2 NFC losses. So it would go past that. Common opponents would be the same. Division record would be the same. Conference record would be the same. Strength of victory rating. A figure calculated by combining the winning percentages of the opponents a team has defeated. So did we beat better teams?
Yeah.
Which if somehow if they lose to the 49ers, then we would win on that, because common opponents. That would be the common opponents.
They'd also have another,
and they'd have 3 losses.
Right, they'd also have a conference loss, so it wouldn't even go to that if they lose to another NFC team.
Yeah, and we beat them, then we have a better record altogether. So it could come down to if the 49ers beat them the week before they play us, then that week 18, as long as we win, win out, then that last week matters, and then we got to come to Detroit to win the division. How sweet would that be? You talk about sweet.
That's an extra playoff. That's an extra playoff game right there.
Yeah, that is the playoffs, and then after that we'd probably lose, but and we'd make the playoffs.
What are my odds right now? Where's my money?
Oh yeah, it's not. I'm sure it's
way down.
I'm sure it's way down. I haven't.
I could use a couple $100.
Well, I mean, it's at a couple $100. I'll tell you that right now. So, could definitely cash it out. I could use a couple thousand myself.
No, I'm letting it ride.
No, you can't let this ride. If it gets up to anywhere over 4, if it gets to 1,000, I might just cash it out for you.
I'll kill you. You cash it out and then we win. You owe me 3.
We're not going to. We're not going to win this.
You owe me $7,000, dude.
We're not going to win the Super Bowl. You got a better chance with that.
Well, what if? What if, son?
Yeah.
Did I get that bet in for the T-Wolves?
Yeah.
That's good. They haven't been.
We'd have to go back and look at where it's been.
It fell off.
So we put $100 on it, and then it went up to, I think at one point it was like $450 something or $460 something. It's $178 right now.
Oh dang! I'm only gonna make $78.
$78, yeah. So and that's gone down with the wins, because after we lost the 2, remember I told you it was like 200 and something.
Yeah.
So even with
it's not just our record; it's all the other teams too are factoring into it. So it's Detroit keeps playing good.
Even just bad wins has taken us down, has taken the odds down for us to win the Super Bowl. So, it's slowly dissipating. But like I said, this will be a true test for KOC. KOC did say at his press conference, it's Sam. That's what it is. We're not going to Nick Mullins. We're not. This is what it is. And if you think about it, if JJ doesn't get hurt, this might, like, as he started to struggle. Okay, remember he said he's going to start the season anyways. Before the season ever started, Sam Darnold was going to be the starter. JJ was coming along slowly. We'll see where he does. He's going to sit a while. So if they had followed through with that from the get-go, well, then you're right. We played 5-6 games. He struggled after he came out of the bye. All right, JJ, here you go. Here's your chance. JJ comes in and just keeps us running. So that his injury is looming a lot larger now because that was the original plan. It was Sam Darnold to start us, and then we go on to JJ from there. So
well, it's also going off what we just talked about, Caleb. And just to be fair, again, we don't know how JJ is going to be in the NFL because we unfortunately haven't really got to see it. Now he looked good in the one. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he played in a couple preseasons.
Yeah. So we'll see. He had a whole year of not getting reps. So
yeah.
There's going to be a big question mark if he's gonna pan out too. So it's not like we can sit here as Vikings fans and go, well, if we can survive this year, we're going to be great next year. It's like there's a lot of question marks.
It's pointing in that direction. I don't know that I wouldn't say a lot of question marks. I mean, obviously you never know, but you look at Jaden Daniels, Washington Commanders, and he's playing amazing. CJ Stroud from last year, he's in his second year and he's playing amazing too. So I think that JJ's kind of that same pedigree, but I mean, like you said, we never know until he gets right in there, but the little that we have seen him in that preseason stuff, he looks damn good. I mean, there's no doubt. I'm excited to see what he does next year for sure. So, we have him for 4, maybe 5 years on that rookie contract. So, if he doesn't pan out, where it's not costing us an arm and a leg, and maybe we go on from there. But I think that he's definitely, next year, the anticipation is going to be. I mean, it's going to be big. Going into that, but we still got a lot of football left this year, and like I said, we're like a 90-some% lock to win or to get into the division or to win it, get into the playoffs, which we are going to be. I mean, unless somehow Detroit falters, we cannot win the division on our own. It's going to take them to falter at some point because we beat them. We beat them week 18, and that's their next loss. Well, then they're 15-2, and we're 14-3. So. We need some help, but so we're going to be the number 1 wild card, but that means 4 games on the road. Wild card, division, wild card, and then the first round, which I don't know what they call it, and then the division.
Well, it all depends on who wins.
Championships, and then it'll be Super Bowl. So it'd be 4 games, but
it's not unlike the Detroit Lions to get upset in the playoffs. So.
No, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's definitely a possibility. So, well, all right, man, let's wrap her up. Your predictions.
It's just, I just don't know how much faith I have in slinging Sam Darnold. Tennessee Titans.
You got their stats, pull up their defense and all that.
On the road, they're 2-7, just like just like the Jacksonville was. They're not good. I mean, I don't have.
I'm saying we remedy it. We fix it. We come out. We look good next week.
We win. I have to go with the win because we have to win it. 28-10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I'm that optimistic that we get it fixed. I think that we fix it a little bit, but even when Sam was playing really well, he wasn't putting up huge numbers, 2 touchdowns, maybe 3.
We're due for JJ to just go off.
Yeah, but
or for Aaron Jones to have a day. I mean, we haven't really seen that yet.
Hurt too. On the road, it's in the middle of a long road stretch. 24-17. No, the defense is so much better. It might be a 17. It might be like a 17 or nope. It's going to be 20-10. 20-10.
20-10. All right.
20-10. Yep. We're gonna do 2 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. They're gonna get a touchdown and a field goal. We're gonna double their production. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, 1 touchdown, 1 field goal. So 20-10. I think that's more realistic. I just don't see us putting up those huge numbers again. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a 42-7 or 42-9, they get 3 field goals or something. Just something.
Yeah,
stupid.
keep them on. It'd be really. I mean, it would be really nice to see
Yeah.
them shut down another team and just not let them in the end zone.
Yeah.
That'd be a great morale booster for sure.
Yeah, and as long as he just stops turning the ball over, which
that's really all we have to do. Honestly,
that's what we have to do.
That's it. Just no more stupid turnovers.
Yeah,
protect the ball,
and
you're good to go.
Yeah, he's got to figure out a way to get back to the Sam Darnold of weeks 1 through 5. And I don't know that he can, but I guess we'll see. Along for the ride, for sure.
Anybody can get him there. It will be the quarterback.
He's in the
notorious.
The notorious. See you bye.
And I tell you guys I love you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And that will never change. I will ride with this group until they don't want to play more game.